Alright, hello everybody. My name is Miss Walker. I'm going to be your instructor for this class. This is going to be the orientation that I was going to go over in class, but it looks like it's just not in the cards this semester, so I'm going to go over it and post it for you guys. So a little bit about me. I graduated from McNeese in 2019 with my BSN. I went back to McNeese and graduated with my MSN in 2023. So I have my bachelor's in nursing and my master's in nursing with a concentration in education. My nursing background primarily has to do with women's health, everything women's health. So I do a lot of labor and delivery, postpartum care, women's surgeries, general surgery. I also have experience with a lot of babies. So I work in the NICU, the well baby nursery. And then when COVID happened in 2020, I worked in an acute care setting and med-surg assisting with patient care. I do look forward to getting to know each of you this semester. I'm so happy that you have chosen nursing, and I really hope that you can continue on this path. It's definitely demanding. It's a little bit tough to get through your BSN. You have to be strict with yourself and ready to go. But once you get it, you really are, it's a really big accomplishment. You're proud of yourself. People respect nursing as a profession very much. So it makes it a little bit easier to want to keep going. This is my contact information, so if you need anything, you can contact me at jfalse4. Yes, my last name is Walker. I just recently got married and changed it, and they haven't changed the email. So make sure you look up jfalse4. Email is the fastest way to communicate. I do check my email very often. I do get alerts on my phone when I am emailed, so I should be able to email you back quickly if anything were to happen. My office telephone number is listed, and I am in the back of Suite 205 on the second floor of Hartner Hall. Again, I think email would be the best way to communicate with me. I'm not often in my office, like for when people call, and I don't have a voicemail there, so email is the best way for sure. Attendance is mandatory. It is part of your grade. For attendance, you will be counted as present when you sign the attendance sheet each week. I have a little folder that I will pass around at the beginning of each class where you just initial by your name each day. This class only meets once a week, and there's a couple weeks we don't because of breaks and stuff. So really, there's not too many chances for you to make up your attendance points. You can have excused attendance if you have doctor's notes or a legitimate excuse. If anything comes up, you guys, just talk to me. I promise I will work with you. While Nursing 210 is important, yes, I don't want you to be super duper stressed about this class. It's just to kind of help you start getting into the nursing mindset, but I do understand a lot of the prerequisite courses for nursing are very demanding as well, a lot of your science courses and things like that. Participation points. So like I said a second ago, attendance is very important. In-class group presentations, so you will be assigned a philosopher or an important person in nursing, and that group that should be posted to Canvas already, and you must participate in the discussion forums that are listed on the Canvas page as well. So if you go to the Canvas page real quick, I know it doesn't really show you on here, however, it should be pretty easy to navigate. So if you go to Canvas and you click on Nursing 210, Critical Thinking in Nursing, if you go on the home page, just scroll down, you should see some blue little boxes that say weeks, discussions and quizzes and announcements. You should get announcements that I post to your email. Make sure that's turned on through Canvas. If it's not, it just is an easier way to communicate. If you click on the first one, weeks, modules, it breaks it down by what week we are in the semester. So, for example, if you click week 2, it's going to have just a couple words, and then there's going to be a next button to the bottom right. Click that, and it's going to toggle you through everything for this week. So that's how you're going to get to it. So if you hit next, then it says chapter 1, what are critical thinking, clinical reasoning, and clinical judgment. Scroll again, it brings you to the objectives. Do it again, and it brings you to the PowerPoint. That's kind of how you're going to toggle through that. The discussions box also brings you to the individual discussions, which they also can be navigated in the week that they are due. For the discussions, it's very important that you listen here. You are only going to post in the name that you were assigned in your group presentation. So each student must post at least 2 posts in each discussion board group assigned to you. So where that is posted is in the presentation documents. We're fixing it because of a couple of different changes, but under that, it's going to show you what your group is. That's where you're going to post in each of your discussion forums. Then you will respond to one of your peers in that same group for that discussion post. So that's your 2 posts, your initial post within your group, and then the response to somebody in your group as well. Your post should not consist of like, yes, I agree, and then post. I need you to at least put some words into it, okay? Say, I agree with this. I think this is a good point. I didn't think about this that way. You know, that kind of thing. Making sure you're actually adding something to the discussion. And again, there's another box for quizzes that you can click, but it should also navigate in the week's modules area there. Next week, while you're navigating, because there is something due this coming week, please make sure you text me or email me if there is something you can't find, and we'll navigate it together. Above all those little blue boxes is again my information if you need to reach me. I do have a Calendly link posted. This is if you need to schedule an appointment with me. I teach 4 classes in the nursing curriculum, and so on Wednesdays and Thursdays I'm in clinical, so that kind of bumps out that whole day. So we try to schedule appointments here in the nursing building just to make sure we're actually present when you need us. Nothing else is going to take our attention away from what we're talking about. The syllabus is posted. Please make sure you just glance at that along with the course schedule. Please make sure you understand the course schedule. Again, I send out announcements every week with what's due that week, so you should not be forgetting. But it also tells you who's presenting that week and so on. And then the course evaluation, whenever the course is coming to an end, you will fill out the evaluation. It is anonymous. And then you will be done. So we do finish this course of, I would say, 2 or 3 weeks before the rest of the semester. So that gives you time to focus on your final exams for some other classes. All right, these are the required textbooks to have. Some of you may have the 8th edition, which is fine. It should be all the same information, just the page numbers aren't going to match up. So you might want to talk to other people in your class to see what the content is actually about. Okay, at the completion of this course, you will be able to, so this is kind of what is the purpose of this course. We're going to be talking about different critical thinking skills. What is critical thinking, problem focused versus outcome focused. This really sets you up for clinicals because as soon as you get accepted into clinicals, you are expected to start critical thinking, using that knowledge that you're going to learn in your A&P classes, your micro classes, your first semester of clinical classes, to think, okay, well, this is what's going on. This is the knowledge I already have of this topic. How do I move forward? What do I anticipate is going to happen? That kind of thing. Critical thinking characteristics and skills that will help you in clinical, relating it to the nursing process, discovering the use of concept mapping as a strategy for clinical judgment. You're going to be looking at the different types of professional nursing, whether that's ethical, legal, cultural factors that are going to possibly sway your decision making. And we're going to discuss team steps, which is something that we use pretty often on the nursing floors around here. All right, academic integrity policy. Okay, so this is a nursing course, so remember you're following the nursing curriculum policies while you're in this course. So our academic integrity policy for the university, you're not supposed to copy or plagiarize anybody else's work. We do have a AI policy about like what you can use, what you can't use, as far as we don't mind you using ChatGPT or any of those AI softwares. However, please make it your own. Use it to supplement what you already have. Don't copy and paste. We know the difference. And ChatGPT is pretty bad for bringing up the exact same things every time. So we can see if multiple people in your class do it, it's probably not going to differ too far from each other. So like we said, you can use it to supplement. Do not use it to complete your work wholly, because ChatGPT cannot take your NCLEX exam once you get into nursing school. So cheating is not acceptable. If we have any type of proof or anything like that, there will be consequences. It says Moodle site, Canvas site submissions, They do go through a plagiarism format, just like Moodle did, that detects any plagiarism, and you may be expelled from the university or the nursing program. And not, to be honest, guys, Nursing 210 is not a class where it's worth it to jeopardize your entire academic career over. So just put some effort in and you will be completely fine in this class. All right. Some other policies that you can access through this PowerPoint would be our student handbook, an academic integrity policy, and our Department of Graduate Nursing student handbook, which kind of talks about some of the other policies that we may have in place. We did have some COVID-19 policies for the College of Nursing, but it's really not anything you're going to have to worry about too much right now. All right, class information. Again, attendance is mandatory. You are expected to attend class. Also, you are spending a lot of this class time working on your presentations as a group, okay? Everybody in the group is going to get the same grade unless somebody comes to me or other people come to me and say, so-and-so did not participate at all. They were never in class. They never answered our text messages or emails, and so on. Then I will be forced to give a different grade to that person who did not participate. So respect your peers and respect yourself enough to go to class, or communicate with your peers. If there's a reason you can't go to class, tell your group, hey, I won't be there, but don't worry, I'll have my part done, blah, blah, blah. They will probably be, respect each other and make every attempt to get to know your peers. These are probably the people you're going to end up in clinical with later on. And they might become your closest friends, your lifelong friends. I've been graduated for over 7 years, and I'm still really good friends with some of the people I was in nursing school with. So it's important to, start off on the right foot with your peers around you. And there's an etiquette guidelines for online classroom activities on how to format, how to talk in your discussion boards, and so on. All right, if you have a valid excuse, as stated below, then all work that was due should be completed by the date discussed with me. So again, if you can't come to class or you can't do anything because of a certain illness, death of a family member, car wreck, jury duty, or other things that you have good documentation for, we will work out a date that everything is going to be due. If you do miss an assignment, and don't talk to me beforehand, I'm going to put a 0 for that assignment until we talk about it. But really, you really need to get in the habit of, if you have to miss, talking to your instructors before you miss, especially in the nursing curriculum. There just has to be good communication to reflect the absence. If at all possible, do your work early and submit it as soon as Canvas allows you to open the submission. We try to keep dates open for submission at least 1 week prior to the due date, just because we want you to have some wiggle room for these online course assignments. Procrastination is not your friend in nursing, and it's not really a good excuse. For example, if you tell your instructor, oh, well, I didn't open it until 11:50, thinking it was going to be easy, and I didn't get it done in time to be due at 11:59. Okay, well, that's nobody's fault but your own. And we're not trying to be rough or mean or anything like that. It's just to make sure you're starting to be accountable for your actions. You guys are all adults now, so it's really trying to transition into taking accountability for your education. If you go to Canvas right now on like maybe your phone or your laptop or whatever, and go to the schedule, we can look at it real fast. So week 1 she put it as last week, even though the university was not open that day, but that's why we're doing this now. Week 2 is what we're coming up on Monday, which the university is closed due to the weather, so that's why I'm going to be posting this. And I'll go over chapter 1 a little bit in a separate video. Chapter 1, it tells you, it says week 2 is 126, it tells you the topic. Chapter 1, what are critical thinking, clinical reasoning, and clinical judgment. And then on the next column, it tells you what's due, when it opens, and when it closes. So your first discussion board is going to be due. It's gonna open on Monday morning, and it's gonna close on the 1st. So you typically have about a week to do that assignment. Remember, this includes both your initial post and a response to somebody else. Again, there is a discussion board rubric on Canvas that you can access to see and make sure you're doing it correctly. I would recommend typing up your response in a Word document first, checking it to the rubric to make sure it qualifies for all your points, and then posting it, and then going back a few days later to do your response. And then going on to week 3, it tells you chapter 2, what's due. In red lettering, you will see what presentation groups are presenting. Okay, I'm saying this now, but I'm going to say it again next week, hopefully in person. Whoever has Clara Barton as their topic for the presentation group, it's going to move until the 9th, till February 9th. That is because we want you to have time to actually do it correctly, okay? And it tells you, as you scroll through the schedule, it tells you what groups are presenting which days, okay? And it's kind of throughout the whole course. And we'll talk about that a little bit more. If you have any questions about the schedule, please let me know. All right, what are we doing here? So we have 2 exams. We have an abbreviation exam and a paper that's going to be considered an exam that takes up 40% of your grades. You have online quizzes, that's 20%, a final online exam, that's 25%, and then your participation points. So that is going to be attendance, your in-class presentations, and your discussion boards for 20% for a total of 100%. In nursing courses, your grades will never be rounded. So if you get a 90.9, it's a 90.9, which is a B. Remember, you are also, if you look at the syllabus, it will tell you what the grading scale is. And this is a specific grading scale for the nursing program. So an A is 91 to 100, a B is 83 to 90, a C is 77 to 82, and a D is 66 to 76, and anything below a 66 is considered a failing grade. This is a nursing course, so you need a C or better in this course to pass. All right, muddiest points. What content needs clarifying, or what questions do you have? So there is a little, you can always email me about what questions you may have. You can schedule an appointment with me that way, or comment on anything that I post if you have questions. Additional resources. There is a grammar PowerPoint somewhere on Canvas as well, that you can review. Your second exam, Mildred's Story, is 20% of your grade, and you have to make sure you're using grammar correctly. There is an app called Grammarly that does have some free aspects that tell you, what's correct, what's not. It's an AI software that we allow you to use, that sometimes can rephrase sentences to sound better. It checks your grammar, that kind of thing. You would be surprised how many students lose a lot of points from grammar alone. So definitely make sure you're at least reviewing what you're writing before you post. All right, so remember, it says grab your spoon, don't wait to be spoon-fed. This kind of goes into your accountability for your education, grab it, go after it. This is your opportunity to start really strong in your nursing career. Take charge of your learning. If you don't know what's being asked, if you don't know what's going on, don't just sit back and ask nothing. Remember, ultimately, you guys are paying for this education, so ask those questions. Look up things you don't know. Reach out to me. I'm your faculty. I'm here to help you. Okay, so I know this is a little bit different than what we've talked about doing, like being online and not in the classroom. So if you have any questions, please just open up the Canvas course, look at the syllabus, look at the schedule, look at the presentation documents, and kind of navigate your way through to see. The only thing that is going to be due soon is your first discussion board. So please, please, please make sure you look at that and do that so you're starting out on a good foot here. If you have any questions from this specific PowerPoint video, just let me know.